Country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks. Welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers, we build computers, we build laptops, we build desktops, we fix Macs, we fix PCs, we build websites, we recover lost data. You know, pretty much if it has something to do with a computer, we're on it. We can help you in the shop, we can help you in your home, we can help you at your business, we can help you over the Schrock desk. So it's pretty cool. So I want to welcome everybody in who's listening across the country. I want to remind everybody that Compute This is recorded live Sunday mornings at 7, and then it goes out to other stations after that. So you may not be listening at Sunday morning at 7 a.m., but if you need immediate Compute This gratification, you can always watch us live on our Facebook feed. It's at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. When you're there, click like or follow. Sometimes people say it's hard to find, and then they find it the first time. If you click like or follow, it will show up in your feed when we go live so that you can jump right into the program. We also send out really important alerts through Facebook. For example, when Microsoft released the 2.0H2 update, we sent out a Facebook Live on that, and it gets out to a lot of people. Then we boost it as well to make sure it gets into your feed, because you got to throw a little coin to Facebook, or they don't they don't push it like they used to. So anyway, it's one of the very important methods we have of communicating with you. We're currently evaluating other social media platforms as well for its possibilities. There are alternatives out there, guys. For Twitter, there's the alternative is Parler. There is and I can't think of the name right now, but I just for the first time heard about an alternative to YouTube. And I went and looked at it, and literally the entire website appears to be just Dan Bongino's stuff, because it's like the top 10 watched videos, and it's all Dan Bongino. Now, he does some cool stuff. If you haven't ever heard of Dan Bongino, go check out the Bongino Report. You're going to like it. Guy's former Secret Service. He's former law enforcement. I think he's former military too. I don't know. But his take on everything is like, dude, I've been in the room. I know how this stuff works. Let me tell you what's going on. And it's just an insight that you just don't get anywhere else. Given everything, I don't know if you guys have heard or been following what's been going on with Rush Limbaugh, that they, I heard, I don't know if it broke this week or not, but I heard this week that his cancer is terminal. And that, it's terminal. So he literally thanks God every morning he wakes up for another day, and every night when he goes to bed, he prays to God that he'll wake up the next day. So it's definitely a day-to-day thing, and he's doing what he loves to do. And it makes you wonder, what's going to happen, when Rush Limbaugh goes. Rush Limbaugh single-handedly saved AM radio. In the 80s, all this new tech is coming out, and there's FM radio, and everyone wants to be, and all of a sudden, here's this guy on AM radio, grandpa's radio, what's going on there? Who's going to fill that void? And then you look back and you're just like, there's Dan Bongino waiting in the wings. There's Andrew Wilkow waiting in the wings. Here comes Tucker Carlson out of nowhere. Who was Tucker Carlson before Bill O'Reilly? He took Bill O'Reilly's airtime spot. It's like, who was this Tucker? I think he worked for Bill O'Reilly, honestly. So, I mean, it's just pretty amazing how there's this whole generation of people in media that come up and are going to write the narrative for the next generation of people. But anyway, I want to take the moment here to thank everybody for watching us online, to thank everyone for tuning in this morning, whether you're tuning in Kansas City, whether you're tuning in Des Moines, whether you're tuning in Nebraska, or, we have people listening in Texas, Montana, Michigan. I think we had one in Minnesota last week. I can't remember. That's popping into my head for some reason. It might just be another M state. I don't know. But thanks, everybody, for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time out of your morning to be here, to learn a little bit, hopefully be a little entertained, and get a little information. If you want to join us on the program this morning, we do take calls on the air, 888-250-2091. If you want to ask a question or make a comment, we will put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate here at the end of the program. It's good for anything in the service center you want. You can put it toward a computer, you can put it toward a renewal of endpoint or secure updater or whatever you want to do. We used to mail these out. There's been some confusion on this. We used to mail them out, guys, but now our system, the new system that Schrock Interactive has built for us, it allows us to apply a credit directly to your account. So if you have an account with Schrock, we just apply the credit to your account. And then the next time you go to make a purchase, it automatically takes that $25 off. It's good for 90 days. It expires after that, but you've got that, you banked it. So we don't have to have a paper certificate anymore. So when Addie, if you're not a customer in the system and you do win, Addie will call you, get your information, and add you to the system so that you can have that credit on file, whether your purchase is online or in the service center, whether it's, in the middle of a lockdown, heaven forbid, or, if it's just a sunny afternoon and you're out shopping and you decide it's time for a new laptop, you can throw that $25 toward it. There is no such thing, guys, as a silly question. So when you call us on the program here today, you might have a question that you think, oh, this is going to be so dumb, and it's going to be such an easy thing, I'm embarrassed to even ask it. Don't feel that way. Do not feel that way. Because if you have the question, guys, in the service center, I would say 9 out of 10 questions that we get on a daily basis are literally the same questions over and over and over again. Yes, it's a scam email. No, Microsoft didn't call you. Yes, you need to run that update. Should you leave your computer on all the time or turn it off every night? Husbands and wives, I had an email last week, so help solve an argument for me, and I feel like, oh no, I'm going to end a marriage here. It's like, yeah, you're both right. Both of your feelings are valid. I'm like, that sounds like something they would say in counseling, right? You got to leave it on at least one day a week all night, okay? Otherwise, you can do whatever you want. See, everybody's right. It's a happy Schrock family. We love it. All right. So, guys, last week on the program, if you missed the show last week, you missed a really good program. Last week, we told you about PayPal's new move into Bitcoin, which has fueled a rocket ship. Bitcoin touched $14,000 a coin last week. Keep an eye on this, guys. The stock to flow model says that Bitcoin should end the year around 14,000, which would be yet another, I'm not going to bore you with it, but literally there's this model that says this is what the price of Bitcoin is going to be going into the future. And it's called the stock to flow model. You can Google it. And on the chart, it says at the end of the year, Bitcoin's going to be 14,000. You got to think, at one point this year, Bitcoin was at 3,000. So how silly did the stock to flow market chart sound at that point, right? And here we are at the end of the year, and Bitcoin is like, bing, pin in the map, 14,000. That stock to flow model says Bitcoin is going to be worth $50,000 next year, and by 2025, $1 million a coin. So, sometimes my wife accuses me of doing old man things. When did you get old? When do you want to give a commemorative coin to people? That's like a grandpa thing to do, Thor. If you're a grandma or a grandpa and you want to be hip and cool and awesome, give the grandkids $100 in Bitcoin. They get a little card and they're expecting to open it up and have that C note fall out. Like, ooh, money, yay, I can go blow this. And everyone knows they're going to blow it on V-Bucks, guys. It's just a waste of money. But you give them instead a private key. It's a piece of paper with a giant nonsense code written on it. And they're like, is this like an Amazon code? Like, no, it's Bitcoin. Well, I don't want the stupid Bitcoin. And you look at mom and dad and you're like, keep that in the safe. And then, they go to college later and they're like, wow, grandpa gave me like $100,000 toward college when he gave me that $10 in Bitcoin for Christmas. It's just a fun thing, guys. I mean, it's amazing to watch how this is going to change the world of finance. PayPal decided that you're going to get into it. I got a lot of questions in email about how that's going to work. And you don't ever touch the Bitcoin, guys. You don't even have to know you're doing Bitcoin. PayPal is going to take care of all the transactions for you, which is why this is such a big story. You buy something with cash. I used the example in the email where I replied to the gentleman and I said, a lot of times we buy tools for data recovery, and a lot of those tools are made in Europe or unfortunately in Russia. So we have to buy the tools where they're made. So we're buying tools in euros typically. I have never held a euro in my hand in my life. So how do I buy tools in euros? Well, they want to be paid with PayPal. So PayPal says the conversion rate from dollars to euros is this. So your purchase is this much in dollars, and I pay that much in dollars. PayPal changes the money into euros and pays the other guy in euros. It's going to work the same way with Bitcoin. You're never going to have to hold Bitcoin in your hand, but you will be able to in your PayPal wallet if you want to. Once that happens and everybody can access it through a common app and you can easily change it back and forth into dollars, it's going to be really easy for grandma and grandpa to give grandsons and granddaughters and great-grandchildren $100 in Bitcoin for Christmas. I mean, it's the new savings bond. Look at how this is changing the way that the world works. And it's just mind-blowing. You look at my 14-year-old son and I'm like, man, the world that you're going to grow in is so exciting. They're going to put a base on the moon in 2024. That's the goal. They found water on the moon. They're going to put a base on the moon in 2024. What a time to be alive. My goodness. And I'm sure every generation feels that way, right? I mean, but wow, the next generation, if only I could live a little bit longer, right? All right. So last week we talked about the PayPal thing, which was a huge deal. Also, I've gotten a lot of emails from people who are confused about the whole Apple update situation. Part of this is the version numbering. So they released version 14, which was a disaster. Then they released version 14.0.1, which was supposed to fix the disaster, and it fixed some of the disaster, but it made even more disaster. So the medicine was worse, the cure was worse than the ailment. So then they made 14.0.2, which just please don't. So now they've released 14.1. And a lot of people are confused between version 14.1 and version 14.0.1. 14.1 is out and you should install it. It is a huge fix. There's still a battery drain issue, but it fixes a ton of other issues on your iPhones and iPads. Make sure you install it. We discussed that last week. Also, we talked about competitors in search. We talked about duck.com, which is DuckDuckGo last week. So we're going to try to bring you some of these social media competitors. So if you're in the group of people that either has been censored on social media or perhaps you're just tired of giving the same companies your time and attention all the time, you should know there are other options out there, and we try to tell you about those. Coming up on the program today, guys, I want to take a moment here at the start. We're going to tell a little bit about the migration from Semantic Endpoint to Sophos. How is that going? I know many of you have migrated already. Some of you have not. And so we need we'll be reaching out to you. Don't worry if you haven't. If you're just hearing about it for the first time, that's why you haven't. We're going to tell you what to do. I saw the first leaked Black Friday ads. They don't even call them leaked ads anymore. Now it's just the companies are just like, here's our Black Friday ad. Remember when it was a secret and you had to wait till the day before Thanksgiving and then you had to rush to the door the day after Thanksgiving and you had to stand in a line in the cold, and then now and then somebody leaked one of the ads. And it was like oh my gosh, this is crazy. They got to be so mad that somebody leaked their ad. They're not mad. And then everybody started getting their ads leaked. There were websites about Black Friday leaks I wonder how they were getting the ads at the Black Friday leak website. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a Best Buy website, So anyway, we've got some of the Black Friday ads. We've seen some of them. And I have to tell you guys, the trends are way different this year. The things that you're going to see on special on Black Friday, do not expect to go buy a $100 or $200 laptop on Black Friday this year. It's not going to be there. So we're going to tell you what's there. We usually the whole point of Black Friday is usually to separate the junk from the stuff that you might actually want to buy, so you don't go buy that $200 hunk of junk and then, see, I caught myself there. That piece of junk. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You don't go buy that $200 piece of junk laptop and then wonder 6 months later why it's not working right. So we're going to go through some of the ads, kind of tell you guys what to look for in the tech trends there, because most people buy tech on Black Friday. Also, Google has announced a new service where they're going to provide a VPN service. Now, it's only available to some people, and it costs more than most other VPNs. But the question I have for you is, do you trust Google to be your VPN? The whole point of a virtual private network is to remain anonymous to people like Google. But if Google is the VPN, guess who gets to know the info? The service provider. Google knows all your info then. So it's kind of interesting that they're going to provide a VPN. We're going to talk about that. Also, the FCC has launched a huge fund, a $9 billion fund to bring 5G to rural America. So that's the federal government saying rural America will have 5G. And they don't mean Omaha as rural America. They mean rural America will have 5G. Because imagine if you could, that's the one thing that keeps me from moving out into the country. Is the fact that I would not get fast internet. You just can't get fast internet in the country. There's just no way to do it. Unless you're willing to pay like $1 bajillion to have a private line run. Maybe you can go in with a few, well, that's the whole point of being in the country. There are no neighbors, right? So there are neighbors, but they're at a neighborly distance. That would be a lot of wire to string. So anyway, rural 5G, we're going to talk about that on the program as well. So, guys, Sophos migration. What is going on? What is this Sophos thing? If you have been out and about or away or traveling and you're just now hearing about this, or maybe you tune out all media when you get close to election time, which I wouldn't blame you for. Semantic Endpoint sold their security software product last year about this time to Broadcom. So the Symantec endpoint is their corporate security. Broadcom has a whole bunch of other cloud services they provide, and they wanted a security product, so they bought Symantec's endpoint. Symantec then sold their consumer division to a new company that they founded in conjunction with LifeLock called Norton LifeLock. But because the endpoint software was the core of all of their security products, they couldn't take it to Norton LifeLock. That's why they resurrected Norton 360. So Norton 360 with LifeLock is literally their 2015 antivirus product that they retired that has been brought out of mothballs, dusted off, a new set of definitions thrown on the top of it, and released to you as a very inexpensive antivirus product. Typically, you spend about $80 a year for it, and you can cover 5 computers. Seems like a really good deal on the surface. Underneath the hood, not so much, and we're going to talk about that a little on the program today. One of the things I want you to know about the migration is we have looked at what endpoint is going to be under Broadcom, and number one, there are too many question marks. We take your security really seriously, even if you don't. We do. And that's what you pay us to do. That's why you subscribe to Endpoint through Schrock, is so that somebody is watching out for you. We actually actively monitor your security status at Schrock, and when there's a problem, we call you and tell you if it can't be automatically fixed. We don't know what you're doing with your computer. We just know if it's secure or not. We don't know if Broadcom is going to be able to protect you. We don't know what their research division looks like. We do know how well they have communicated with us about what they're doing and how the migration process is going to work. And I can tell you it's garbage how they've communicated with us. I can tell you that we call our vendors at Ingram Micro, one of the largest distributors on the planet of information technology products, and they literally tell us, run. Now, they wouldn't publicly say that, but they say, run. This is a goat rope. Run. This is not going to end well. And so we take all this information in and we waited. We said, you know what, it's a pandemic, COVID, whatever. Let's give them a little time. Well, they're supposed to end, the Symantec endpoint is going away in about 10 days. And it will be gone. And your computers, if you're still running it, will pop up and tell you your Symantec endpoint is no longer working, which is why we need to get you to a new solution. So we looked around and we found Sophos. Sophos' solution is so much better than even what Endpoint had before. We had some upset customers about Sophos. We're installing it on your computer, right? You're watching over the Schrock desk. We leave Endpoint installed while we're installing Sophos, so there's no gap in protection. So Endpoint's running and detecting all these threats, right? And then we install Sophos, and while it's installing, Sophos detects 4 infections on the computer. And customers are like, what in the world was I paying you for? And we have to explain to people that Endpoint, these are scraps that are left over. Endpoint killed these infections when it was on the computer, but it left these little scraps behind. Sophos doesn't play. These are scraps of an infection. They are gone. And it removes them. And it protects our customers. It costs us double, guys. It costs us double what we were paying for Endpoint. But we're not raising the price to you. Basically, the renewal price is still $69.99 every year. The purchase price is still $160. So we're not doubling the price or anything like that because number one, that would be nuts. Number two, let's get you through this. The first things first, let's get you through this transition so that you can remain protected. And I have to tell you, installing it on a mobile phone and a tablet is a dream compared to what you had to go through with Symantec Endpoint. You install an app, you scan a QR code, and you're installed. It's that easy. So guys, if you're still running Symantec Endpoint on your computer and you do not have Sophos installed, go to our website at SchrockInnovations.com and click on the black banner underneath the rotator that says migrate now, migrate to Sophos Intercept X. And then it'll have instructions. It'll tell you all the details on what's going on, the whole backstory that I just gave you, as well as a tool that we have made that will do the migration for you. So check that out, SchrockInnovations.com. If you tried to do this earlier and you had trouble, please try again because the tool has been modified a little bit. We've installed some additional security components to hopefully get it through some of the barriers that it was running into. But things should be much better now. Go ahead and try that if you haven't done so already. 888-250-2091. Also, we are looking for holiday special testers. We are running out of time to get a tester and actually get you a computer before the launch of the holiday special, which is coming up. Holiday special laptop and desktop. We do have 2 of our 3 laptop testers and 1 of our 3 desktop testers. When you're a tester, you purchase the computer just like always, but you get it ahead of time. You get it earlier than everybody else so that you can give it a run around the track and let us know what you think. That way, if there's any modifications to be made, we can make them before the sale goes live. We, of course, will also modify your test computer as well based on the feedback if a modification is made. All right, we got to take a quick break here, but when we come back, guys, Black Friday trends for 2020. What's on sale? What should you look for? What should you avoid? We're going to tell you what's coming out in those ads coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. The number to join us on the program this morning, ask a question, make a comment, give us a call, 888-250-2091. Before we jump into the Black Friday segment here, let's take Dale's call real fast. Dale, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
First, I just want to make a note on Rush Limbaugh. I don't know if you were aware, but Friday he couldn't finish his show. They had to do a pre-recorded program, so that doesn't sound very good.
No.
Pretty sad. Anyway, you mentioned YouTube. Are you aware of YouTube having problems, or have they made some drastic changes? I've had issues with YouTube on 2 different Samsung phones. It started Thursday evening. Was watching a YouTube video, and then I noticed the videos underneath, the thumbnail pictures or whatever you call it, didn't show up. And when I would try to watch one of them then, I couldn't watch them. Anyway, yesterday I took a different Samsung phone to I was at a public Wi-Fi area, and I got 2 made on there where I can download some, YouTube videos. And I went in, I did a search on YouTube to find the videos I wanted. And first I couldn't even get YouTube to come up. It finally did come up. And then some of it worked fine, and other times when I would click on a video to watch, it would sit there and, the little deal would go round and around and around to load. Nothing would load on it. Then finally, the video I wanted to watch would load, and all the other ones underneath wouldn't. They just gradually would come on. I checked the websites for outages, and they say everything is 100%, yet about 10% of the comments underneath were people with the same problems I have. Plus, there's a toggle switch that showed up that I don't remember seeing before. It's called autoplay, and it's defaulted on.
Yes. Yep. So basically, Dale, what the autoplay feature you're describing is what it does is it when the one video finishes, it automatically plays the next video that it thinks you're interested in. So it keeps you moving forward. One of the challenges with the YouTube app on phones is getting out of it, like getting it to exit, getting it to stop playing things. You think you're done watching a video, you shut your screen off, you put your phone down, and all of a sudden, the car speakers come blaring through with some other video of something you don't even know that kids are playing basketball, and you're like, what is this? So everything that you described sounds a lot like a bandwidth limit. With that said, if your other, you said you were checking websites and stuff, so it sounds like it was able to get on the internet just fine. So I am not aware of any major algorithm change that Google has made to YouTube. I can tell you that they do not announce those kind of changes for obvious reasons. I can tell you that they did appear in front of the Senate this week. Or was that late last week? I can't remember. And we are near an election. So there's probably some monkey business going on with the algorithm somewhere that might have impacted that. But I can't tell you with any certainty that that was the problem that you were having. If it continues to happen over an extended period of time, I would be interested to find out if the same problem happens across multiple devices, like if you have several phones that are all doing the same thing at the same time, if they're connected to the Wi-Fi or LTE. This is something we'd be happy to help you out with in the service center as well. Thanks for the call, Dale. We got you in the drawing there. Black Friday, guys. I'm looking at the Black Friday ads right now, and I'm seeing the only kind of laptop-y thing that you can get that's inexpensive is a Chromebook. Let me warn you about Chromebooks. Chromebooks are great if all you're going to use them for is Google. A Chromebook is literally a laptop made to use Google. Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Search, YouTube. You can't load an app on it. You can't load a program on it. You can't use Microsoft Office on it. Like there's all kinds of limitations to a Chromebook, which is why they're so inexpensive. But what this does tell you is you can get a 14-inch Chromebook on Black Friday for $129. That's $170 off. So if you need a Chromebook, it's not a bad deal. But keep in mind, Chromebooks are Chromebooks. I am not seeing the usual deluge of garbage this year, like the $70 tablet at Walmart that no one's going to use after a month. I don't see that one. I'm seeing things like big ticket items. So $200 off a Galaxy Flex Alpha laptop. So you're going to get $200 off, but you're still going to spend $650 on it. Lenovo Idea Center all-in-one desktop for $550, $130 off. Microsoft Surface Pro for $600 off. That's actually a really good deal because it's $360 off the price. A Pavilion 15-inch gaming laptop for $450, $250 off. Let me just tell you now, if you're going to spend $800 on a gaming laptop, it's a piece of garbage to begin with. It's not going to game. But anyway, so don't expect to see really, really, really cheap things this year for Black Friday. The cheap stuff is all made in China, guys, and it's all made in the summer. So guess what was going on in the summer this year? That's why this is going to impact Black. Once again, we're going to have a coronavirus Black Friday special. Come lick the doorknobs, guys. 2 for 1. Don't lick the doorknobs, please. Don't do that. All right. Number to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. When we come back, Google is launching a VPN service to protect your privacy while you're on the internet. My question is, would you trust Google to protect your privacy on the internet? We're going to ask that question coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure, your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
News, I'm Karen McHugh. Despite lagging behind Joe Biden in most national polls, President Trump seems to be pulling ahead in this Midwestern state.
The race in Iowa has been tight for months, but in these final days of the campaign, it appears President Trump may be pulling ahead. In the Des Moines Register's final Iowa poll before the election, President Trump is leading Joe Biden by 7 points, which is outside the poll's margin of error and is his biggest lead in months.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. Both campaigns are keeping a close watch on Florida, where early voting ends today.
The last Sunday before Election Day is typically the Souls for the Polls event, where voters go directly from church and caravan and go vote. Registered Democrats have a big lead with mail-in ballots, but Republicans have made up almost all of that lead with in-person early voting.
Fox's Phil Keating. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Starting off in the 30s this morning with a few clouds around, but feeling like the 20s thanks to some gusty winds. Winds will back off throughout the day and clouds will decrease, making way for afternoon sunshine. Highs today, though, just in the upper 40s. We'll see highs on Monday in the mid-60s. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm still the owner of Schrock Innovations Computer Company. There's been no material change in the last 4 minutes. Number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091. Coming up on the program, guys, we're going to ask you here in just a few minutes, would you trust Google to provide you with a VPN service? Also, did you know that the FCC is launching a $9 billion with a capital B fund to bring rural 5G into existence, because there's not really any incentive for cell phone companies. Usually the rural areas get the hand-me-down towers. So if you're on 3G right now, like in Wyoming, you're going to get 4G. It's going to be a miracle, right? But they want you to have 5G so that you can be anywhere in the country. Imagine, look at what the pandemic has done to workflow. You've got people that live in these big cities like San Francisco or Seattle or New York, and they have these big high-paying jobs because houses are so expensive and the local economy is really expensive. And then COVID hit and everyone was like, work from home. Now you can live in Omaha, Nebraska, or Des Moines, Iowa, or Kansas City, Missouri, and do a job in New York or Seattle. You can work for Microsoft in Seattle. You don't have to actually be in Redmond to do that. And right now, they're still getting paid the same outrageously large salaries as if they were living in Redmond, right? That's going to change eventually. Those salaries are going to get normalized across the country, which is really bad news for big cities and really good news for small rural areas as long as they have bandwidth to connect people. And that's what this is about. It's amazing stuff. All right, number to join us on the show, 888-250-2091. Over at Schrock right now, we are migrating customers away from Semantic Endpoint over to Sophos. It is getting a little urgent that we need to get you moved over. This includes your phones and your tablets, your Macs, as well as your PCs. There have been some questions in the Facebook feed here that are just too verbose for me to answer during the show, so I'll answer them here really quickly. How do I know if Sophos is running on my computer? Because it is possible you could have Endpoint and Sophos on your computer right now. We've been offering Endpoint for years. So everyone's very familiar with that endpoint icon. It's a circle with a check mark. The Sophos icon is completely new, and it will be in your hidden icons. As you come in for maintenance checkups or with problems with your computer, we always drag that icon out so it's visible so that you always see the Sophos icon. But right now you can't see it because it's in the hidden icons. But it looks like a blue pencil tip with a white letter S in the middle. It'll run an automatic scan once a week. It does literally everything Endpoint did, except it is not a completely definition-based antivirus product. What does that mean? That means there's an artificial intelligence behind it where if it detects something like ransomware activity, if it detects this stupid human is opening up every file on his computer, making a quick change to it and saving it again really fast. Although this human is probably of lower intelligence to my artificial mind, I have to think, he sure can open and close files really fast. Too fast. Wait a minute. This doesn't look right. This is ransomware. All this happens in a fraction of a second, guys. And then, bam, it shuts down the ransomware. Stops your files from getting encrypted and saves the day. UNMC had Sophos, they wouldn't have the problem that they had. Literally this software is that good. That's why it costs twice as much. But it's literally the best that you can get, and that's what we want for our customers. So it's possible you have both. Don't worry if you have both. You can, once you know you have Sophos, if you want to uninstall Symantec, you can do so. Otherwise, we'll take care of it programmatically for you. Pretty much immediately process the removal of Symantec once you install Sophos. Sometimes it takes Symantec, or now Broadcom, 3 or 4 days to actually remove it from your computer when we ask them to. So anyway, it's funny, if they don't pay the bill, they remove it real quick. But if if you're leaving them, they're like, well, you could stay a little longer. Please don't rush for the doors just yet. But we've migrated about 2,000 of our 4,000 customers so far, and that was if you have Secure Updater, it migrated you automatically. If you go to our website at schrockinnovations.com and you click on that black banner that says Migrate to Sophos Intercept X, you can run that tool and it will migrate you. If you get security warnings that pop up on the tool, just click on More Info and run anyway. If you're having trouble running it, try disabling your endpoint before you run it, just to make sure it doesn't detect it as a nasty thing. Because when you start messing around with antivirus software, when you're already protected by one, it makes everybody a little nervous and they can kind of clamp down a little bit. So we've loosened up the rules a little so Symantec doesn't clamp down on you so bad. We've also security signed the migration tool. We have another security certificate we are going to get on Monday that is going to make. It's the ironclad one. There's the quick and dirty one and the ironclad one. We had to go quick and dirty first because time. Now we're going to get the ironclad one. The ironclad one is the same thing that Secure Updater has. It's the same thing that Drive Advisor has. So when you run that on your computer, nothing's going to get in the way because it's been completely verified as a secure installation. So we'll have that rolling out probably Monday or Tuesday. But in the meantime, do go to the website and migrate. If you have a cell phone that we are protecting with Symantec Endpoint, you have to come to the service center, unfortunately. Especially with iPhones, they don't allow us to remote into them. Sometimes we can remote into Android phones, especially the older ones, but it's hit or miss. So the best thing, guys, it only takes like 3 minutes. We install an app on your phone, we scan a QR code, and boom, you're good to go. So please get those cell phones in. We're going to start individually contacting people who are still on Endpoint here in the next few days just to start getting you migrated. Also, it's the first of the month, right? So the first week of the month. So anyone who has an Endpoint subscription expiring in November, all of your subscriptions are automatically been converted into Sophos subscriptions. So you're good to go. All right. So before we get into stories here, let's jump into the phones. We have a lot of callers who've been really patient. Don, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Yes, good morning, Thor.
Good morning.
I have a question. On my computer, I usually had the computer, the screen, and the machine would shut off after 5 minutes. And I've noticed that the screen now shuts down when I do it, when I quit using it, but the
computer doesn't.
The computer doesn't. It just keeps running. And it did it before, and then it started working fine again, and now it started the same process again. And I've gone in and changed the time from 5 minutes to 1 minute, but the screen responds to that change, but the computer doesn't.
Gotcha. So I don't know that you can actually set the sleep for the computer. I think you might be adjusting the settings for the monitor, because I don't know that you can set it to go to sleep after a minute of inactivity. I'm going to check mine real quick here, just real quick.
Yeah, I think you can on mine. It shows that.
For sleep,
maybe
you can go all the way to 1 minute. You sure can. Why would you? Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do that. So one of the things that's crazy that people don't sometimes understand about sleep mode. Sleep mode was invented for Windows 95, and it was invented for large companies who are running 1,000 computers in their call center, and everybody goes to lunch. That's a lot of wasted power that you could be recapturing. They have the big CRT TV monitors on there and everything. Modern computers don't use nearly as much power. And the other problem that you have is when you're using the computer is smart enough to put off maintenance tasks so that when you're using the computer, it's not doing those maintenance tasks. But if you don't give it time to do those tasks, eventually it's going to break the rules to do those things. For example, it may not allow the computer to go to sleep because a virus scan is going on. Or it may not allow the computer to go to sleep because disk maintenance is happening. Or there's a Windows update installing. Now, that's probably not the case all the time in your case. So there could be something else going on there. But sleep mode has really gone the way of the dodo, if you will. It's the same thing with, it's useful in laptops if you're going to shut the lid of your laptop because you're done using the computer and you want to preserve the battery. It's useful for that. But for a desktop computer, there's almost no reason to use it anymore. We usually recommend that customers set their screens to go black so you don't have that blue truck headlight staring at you all night. But then the computer can run all the time, and it gives the computer the ability to download large updates, install them when you're not using the computer, reboot overnight when no one's using it, and it gives you a much better experience, because what's going to happen otherwise is all of those updates and activities are going to be compressed into the time that you're trying to use the computer, and then you end up with a poor experience.
Okay.
So yeah, we'd be happy to take a look at those sleep settings for you. We can check that over the Schrock desk. You don't have to bring it in for that, but we can check that. We can check that out for you just to make sure the settings are all right and proper. And if you want it to go to sleep, we'll make it go to sleep. But I would recommend that we at least, if we're going to have it go to sleep, we at least give it, say, 2 hours. So that it's when you're done using it and you walk away from it, we can turn the monitor off after 10 minutes, but give the computer a couple hours to do the things that it needs to do so that it can serve you best.
Sure. Well, I want it to have maximum performance, so I'll do what it's supposed to do. I'll call the desk then and see if they could look at it.
Just like me, I cannot perform at my maximum performance level while asleep. Thanks for the call, Don. I appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. We got you in the drawing as well. All right, one more call real quick before we go to break. Greg, you've been real patient with us. Thanks for staying on the line. How can I help you today on Compute This?
I had to bring my computer in because Windows 10 upgrade didn't complete correctly. And when I got it back, they told me that they had for some reason or other, they had to set up a new Microsoft account for me.
Yes, a user account.
And I found out, I guess, that I actually have 2 copies of my files out there.
Yep, on the hard drive. So,
and I'm just wondering.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And I'm just wondering if I can get rid of one of those sets of files, because I know the other day I updated a file and I was going to send the document out on an email, and I found out that I actually emailed the other version of the file.
So as far as this goes, one of the things that when you have a situation, one of the biggest failures that happens with these automatic upgrades is there's a corruption in the user profile. What that manifests as when I get on the radio and I say, all your files disappear, that's what happens. That's what a corrupt user profile is. Microsoft will automatically create a new temporary profile, so your computer reboots and everything comes up, but all of your stuff is gone. And you're like, what the heck? It's still there. We just got to get it and find it and pull it out, which is the 2-hour repair process. So, basically in this case, what the guys did in the shop for you is they created a new profile, migrated all your stuff to that profile, but they didn't delete your old profile. And that was done for safety's sake, just in case there was something we missed. We always want, if you recycle a computer, for example, you don't have to be Hunter Biden. If you recycle a laptop, we hold on to the hard drive for 14 days before we wipe it, just in case you recycle the wrong computer. The reason we have that policy is because that's happened. It's one of those things, the bureaucracy creeps and grows over time. So you've obviously been in less than 30 days ago. So what I would suggest is you can certainly go through and delete one of the sets of copies. Yeah, and it's your computer. You can do anything with it you want. But you have us on the hook for a warranty here. Let us do it for you because we know which set of files was the older set. And it's going to be easier for us to delete those for you and quicker for us to delete the older set of files than it will be for you to delete them, as long as you're confident that you have a copy of everything you need.
they just do that over the Schrock desk?
Oh yeah, you don't have to bring it in. We can do it right over the Schrock desk. And the beauty, the wonders of beautiful modern technology. Yep, we can get connected with you over the Schrock desk. We can go through, and literally all they're going to do is delete the old user profile. They're going to go into the settings and they're going to say, delete that user, and all that user's files are going to go away. All that user's settings are going to go away. But that's okay because we migrated them into the new user account already. But we just want to make sure you have everything before we take that final step. You know, when your finger is hovering over that delete key and it's not your data, you know, you're just a little hesitant, you know. So why don't we send this home with him? He's got plenty of room on the hard drive. It's not going to hurt him to have 2 sets of files. And, you know, most of the time you're not going to end up sending the wrong document because Windows is going to keep you within your own user profile. But in your case, it sounds like that's not happening. So what we need to do is clean up that backup set of files for you now that you know you've got everything.
Okay.
Yep, so just give us a buzz. We're open Saturday from 10 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 5. Of course, we're open all the other days of the week as well from 10 to 8. So just give us a call. I typically recommend not calling right when we open because everybody does that. And so you can look at our little Google graph and it says usually pretty busy right about that time because we are. All right.
I had another thing, too. I noticed now my Secure Updater and Drive Advisor don't start up when I start the computer.
Gotcha. So just have us reinstall those programs for you. There was a, or we can manually create the startup command. It was set for your user to automatically load that. Now you have a new user that didn't exist then, and that's why they're not auto-loading. So we can go ahead and set those up to auto-load for you as well while we're connected over the Schrock desk.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate your time this afternoon. All right, guys. So would you trust Google as your VPN? Google's going to provide a service for $10 a month only to people who subscribe to other Google services to provide security, virtual private network, so they protect your identity. So, for example, I use ExpressVPN on my phone. I don't usually use it on my desktop computer because it does slow down your internet connection, but on my phone, I always have it enabled. And it literally, the apps don't know who I am unless I sign into them. They don't know where I am. It protects tons of privacy for me. No one knows what I search for from my phone, not even Sprint, or now T-Mobile, not even my internet provider, not the federal government, nobody. Although you never know who makes ExpressVPN. It could be the CIA, right? I don't know. But Google wants to provide a VPN, and they would know everything. I don't know that I would trust Google at this point with that kind of data. The whole point of a VPN is to protect my privacy from those who would, aggregate my data and use it to make decisions about me. And Google is the king of that. And especially because ExpressVPN is about $6 a month and it's literally rated number 1 or number 2. The other one is about $6 a month and it's literally rated number 1 or number 2. NordVPN is not rated number 1 or number 2. I get that question a lot. But I don't know that I would use Google, guys, honestly. All right, 888-250-2091. When we come back from the break, FCC and a $9 billion fund. Blaine, Deborah, Dale, we're going to rock it through your calls real quick. And then a personal note coming from me, coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier, so take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, final segment of the program. Thanks for sticking with us through the show today. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Quick reminder that we are looking for testers for the holiday special laptop and desktop. It's way less scary than it sounds, right? So I say a tester. The laptop is solid, guys. It is boss. The desktop is just epic. Literally. I mean, the prices of all the components went up this year, and we still found a way to make a super zoom machine that's going to last you a decade. It's cool. But basically the way it works is you purchase it just like normal, but you get it before everybody else. You don't have to wait for delivery. And that way you can take the computer home and try it out and use it. We ask for your feedback. We might ask you to come on the radio. You don't have to, obviously, but we're going to ask you what you like about it, what you don't like about it, so that we can make sure we're delivering a product to our customers that is going to impress. It's like you're a little focus group, kind of like one of those Frank Lutz focus groups. Those things are cool. I wonder whatever happened to that guy. All right. Anyway, let's jump into the phones real quick. Blaine, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hi. On Friday, I got a notice to restart. I went in and restarted, and it said, I went back and looked at the history, and it said that the Synaptics driver had failed.
Yes.
And then said, this may help, in parentheses, 0x80240005. I went back on Saturday. There was no failure notice, and there was no new install notice either. Mm-hmm. But there was another one from Asus. I opened it this morning. That's gone.
When you say it's gone, you mean the notification in the event log is gone?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, they're not supposed to go away. It's the event log. It's supposed to keep it until you clear it. But yes, there is an issue with the Synaptic touchpad driver and the new version 20H2 of Windows 10. There's also a problem with Connexent audio drivers. We're basically just waiting on those companies to put out updated drivers, and in the meantime, it's using compatibility drivers from Microsoft. So that would be why you're getting updates from Asus and why you're seeing Connexent driver problems. Basically, it's preventing your computer from blue screening, and that's one of the advantages, guys, of using Safe Upgrade. Those problems were documented problems, and Safe Upgrade was able to mitigate those problems by installing the Microsoft compatibility drivers. The downside is you lost multi-gesture support. Most of the people only have one gesture they give to the computer when they're frustrated. You don't need multiples. Maybe two. Maybe there's two gestures. And I don't mean double thumbs up either, But basically you can't pinch and zoom on the touchpad and things like that you could do on a phone screen because that driver has been rolled back to the basic driver. But it keeps the computer from blue screening. So that's what Safe Upgrade's all about. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it there. Deborah, how can I help you today on Compute This?
I was just wondering how important you think having an antivirus on your phone is. I've never had that, but I've heard you talk about it now here recently, and so I'm wondering how important it is.
It's critical. We're at that point now in the world where, look at what happened to Jeff Bezos. Yes, he's Jeff Bezos, right? So everybody's after him. His marriage was blown up because he was having an affair, and how did that get out? The Prince of Saudi Arabia hacked his phone through an app. And accessed all of his personal pictures and text messages and stuff. It's real. These things do happen. They can happen. There is malware. There's ransomware for Android phones now. It is incredibly vital that you keep every endpoint, which is why they call it endpoint, of your digital life protected. An endpoint could be a laptop. It could be a tablet. It could be a phone. If you have multiple devices, if you choose not to protect one of them, you're basically choosing not to protect any of them. So you got to make sure they're all protected. So yes, thank you for the call, Deborah. That is a great point. It is incredibly critical that you keep those phones protected. And Sophos can protect them. Just come on into the service center. It takes about 3 minutes. We install the Sophos app on your phone. If you want to install the Sophos app ahead of time, you can. But then we scan our QR code, put you into our group, gives you all the protections that Schrock offers as well. All right, last call. Dale, how can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi, it's Dale, the original Dale.
The O'Dale.
Yeah.
The OD.
Yeah, my Cox, my cable service.
Yes.
It switched me in 2017 to like a digital phone from an old landline to their cable landline, and now they're talking about switching to a cell phone.
Oh wow.
Have you heard anything about it?
You know, I have not. I don't subscribe to Cox's phone service, and myself, all I have is a cell phone. It wouldn't surprise me though, because they want that bandwidth for other more critical things, and the limitation of Cox is it's still a landline, right? Even if it's at your house, you can't take it with you. So Cox is losing a lot of phone subscribers because people are moving to cell phones. So it wouldn't surprise me that they're partnered up with a cell phone company, probably AT&T, I'm guessing, and they're pushing cell phone service. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. All right, so real quick, $9 billion, up to $9 billion is being released for rural 5G. It's for bids, basically, for companies that want to put this in the area. One of the leading contenders that's interested in doing this is Elon Musk. His Starlink has gone into beta testing this month. Starlink is a satellite-based, high-speed, low-latency, which I have no idea how. That's like saying it's an electric car with a battery that goes 1,000 miles. I don't understand it, but apparently you can do it. And so watch for that coming to a neighborhood near you. All right, quick personal note, guys. I want to let everybody know my father passed away this week. And it's been an up and down kind of roller coaster week. You might remember Alan from the Allen Band. When he fell, he overcame so many health crises that the doctors said he would never come back from. When my son was born, he only had 5 years to live. My son's 14 now. He passed away of a sudden heart attack this week. So we're going to. It's John A. Gentleman is the mortuary. If you knew Alan. And you want to do flowers or something like that, John A. Gentleman is the place for that. We will be having a visitation next Sunday and a funeral next Monday. And of course, anybody who knew him or would like to be there is more than welcome to attend that as well. More coming up on this in the After Schrock. All right, Greg, congratulations. You're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. We'll see you all again next weekend for another exciting edition of Compute This.
Fueled by Hy-Vee, home of hot deals and hundreds of price declines. This is News